Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Andrew Yang. We're going to talk about Cats 2019, and we're going to talk about Mr. Mistoffelees. Today, I will have musical assistance from the Garibay daughters. All right, so let's jump right into this. Today's content contains spoilers for the movie Cats 2019. All right, the movie Cats 2019 was an absolutely fabulous movie. 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely love this movie. I took my entire family to the movie. My wife asked to go to the movie. I was not super hot on seeing this movie. My wife asked to go see it. We took the entire family. My whole home, all my children were home for the holidays for Christmas, and we all went. We had a blast. The movie was amazing. It's a 5 out of 5 star movie. Why did it get panned? Why did it get so many reviews? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. First of all, there's a couple reasons. One, this is a Cuphead situation. Cuphead is a movie that is a video game that came out in 2018, and basically it demanded that people who played it be very, very good video game players. So a whole bunch of subpar players reviewed it and gave it bad reviews because they literally couldn't play video games. Exactly the same situation here. There were a ton of people who did not have the experience with musical theater to go see this movie. If you have not sat through minimum 5 top-notch musical theater plays, you have no business seeing this film, and you absolutely have no business reviewing it. And I think that's exactly what happens. You need a true appreciation for the genre of musical theater to even approach reviewing this film, right? This and all the reviews for this saying this was a bad movie. This is people who eat at McDonald's saying that caviar sucks. Like, this is just like, it was bad. I think this is a travesty how this film was reviewed. All right. Now, with that said, there's a deep understanding of Andrew Yang that sits in the film Cats 2019, and every Yang Gang member needs to go see Cats 2019 immediately, because you are going to understand immediately that Andrew Yang is Mr. Mistoffelees, and he has been Mr. Mistoffelees since 2017. So in the movie, Mr. Mistoffelees is explained to be a stage magician. He is a cat and he is a stage magician. And right from the beginning of the film, Mr. Mistoffelees sings a song, and at first he says a different line. He says a line. It says, "The greatest magicians have something to learn from Mr. Mistoffelees' conjuring turn." This is Andrew Yang saying, "I'm not a politician, but every politician out there better recognize I'm coming to teach you how it is done." Right? Like, and that's exactly what is happening. Andrew Yang is next level leader, right? He's never been a politician, and he's saying, shove aside Elizabeth Warren, shove aside Joe Biden, shove aside Bernie Sanders, and get the heck out of the way, Tom Steyer, because I'm about to show you how to politic. Right? He is amazing, right? But more than that, Andrew Yang also is just a normal human being, right? And at the beginning of Cats 2019, Mr. Mistoffelees is just a stage magician. He just does card tricks, right? There's no real magic in him. It's important to understand that, okay? And when he is in that stage, he sings a song, and he says,
"Oh, well, I never was there ever a cat so clever as magical Mr. Mistoffelees."
That tune Andrew Yang has been singing since 2017.
Oh, well, I never was there ever a cat so clever as magical Mr. Mistoffelees.
Andrew Yang has been singing this for a while, and in Cats 2019, Mr. Mistoffelees sings this in the beginning of the film, and it's clear he's not sure if it's true, right? He's saying, "I am this super awesome cat and I'm magical," right? It's about me. I can do magic. See me, I'm here. Believe, right? And No one does. No one believes in Mr. Mistoffelees, right? Except Mr. Mistoffelees. And he does his tricks and he works on his craft and he gets better and better and he's hardworking and he just keeps moving forward even though the people around him don't believe in him. It's important to understand that. And I just did a video a few days ago talking about February of this year where Andrew Yang stood in a New Hampshire coffee shop with 5 people around him. He can't go anywhere today without less than like 500 people around him, right? Because everybody recognizes now, right? But that wasn't the case a while ago. There was a time where Andrew Yang was singing that song to himself.
Oh, well, I never was there ever a cat so clever as magical Mr. Mistoffelees.
Let's talk about McCavity, right? McCavity is in the film. McCavity is a villain, right? And McCavity isn't a stage magician. He's an actual mage. He has real magic, and he is a real dark mage, right? Dark magic, right? Now, let's take just 1 second to acknowledge a problem, right? Which is Idris Elba. He did a fantastic job with McCavity. And he actually is a dark-hued person, right? He's not African American because I think he's English. But that's unfortunate. If you want to see Idris Elba as a hero, watch Luther. He's great in that. But in this, he's playing a villain, right? But he's actually a dark mage in this. Has nothing to do with his skin. Let's separate those two things. But he is a dark mage in this, right? I understand the nuance there, and so I just want to make sure that nobody thinks I'm ignorant of that, right? But of course, Idris Elba is an amazing actor, and he is acting in this role, right? And he is a dark mage in this with real dark magic, right? Guess what? There are people in this election with real dark magic, right? Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Tom Sire, you best believe that guy's got dark magic, right? You could just knock him right off. Pete Buttigieg, take him right down the line. Amy Klobuchar, the whole line, right? Did I catch them all? BBC. It's Buttigieg, Klobuchar, and Booker's out now. Oh yeah, and the billionaire Tom Steyer, right? Yeah, I got them all. Sanders, Warren, and Biden, right? That's all 6, right? They are all dyed in the wool, pure swamp creature crocodiles, and they got all the dark magic that comes with Washington. All of it. Lobbyists, right? NGOs, like the connections to super dark corners, like super dark organizations that are connected to Washington, pools of money that people aren't sure exactly where it connects to or where it comes from, like tricks that are decades old that get taught in those circles, right? And Andrew Yang, he just strolls in from double Ivy League, from Manhattan Prep, and from Venture for American Benevolence Fund. He doesn't know anything about that dark magic. He ain't McCavity. He doesn't have real dark magic, right? The way Pete Buttigieg does, right? He doesn't spend his time in wine caves, right? He can't talk to billionaires by picking up a phone like Elizabeth Warren. He's not a real dark mage, right? But there are 6 dark mages on that platform, right? Let's talk about what happens in the movie, right? So from there, Deuteronomy, this super dope old elder cat, right, gets captured, right, and by McCavity, and now Deuteronomy has to be rescued, right, and all the cats are trapped in this old theater, right, and they need to rescue Deuteronomy, right, and so Victoria, one of the cats, says, "We can get Deuteronomy. We just have to magic Deuteronomy back." And all the cats say, "We can't magic Deuteronomy back, cat. We can't magic Deuteronomy back. We don't have a mage," right? And then Victoria says, "Yes, we do. It's Mr. Mistoffelees," right? And Mr. Mistoffelees is like, I do card, like he doesn't say it, but it's all written all over his face. I do card tricks. Like I ain't a real mage, right? But Victoria has enough belief in him, and he tries. right? And he sings to himself.
Oh, well, I never was there ever a cat so clever as magical Mr. Mistoffelees.
Poof! But it fails, and Deuteronomy doesn't come back, right? And so he tries one more time, singing it by himself.
Oh, well, I never was there ever a cat so clever as magical Mr. Mistoffelees.
Poof! But it doesn't work, and Deuteronomy doesn't come back. But at that point, right, this is the turning point in the film. And I'll tell you right now, when this happened in the film, tears just came down from my face because I was just so turned by what was happening in the film. And all of the cats, all of the Jellicle cats, sang with Mr. Mistoffelees. And they sang,
Oh, well, I never was there ever a cat so clever as magical Mr. Mistoffelees.
and when I heard that in the film, and I saw, Mr. Mistoffelees seeing all the cats around him, what I heard was Yang Gang. And I heard every Yang tuber and every, Paget Kagi standing up on the overpass, and Kai Watson dropping out of college to help Yang, and 1,000 people wearing Yang merch, and people putting on their math pins and putting on their math hats every day, and people going from door to door, and everybody doing everything and singing that song that Yang had been singing from 2017. And he believed it when nobody else did. And it was hard. It was just so clear in that moment that Yang believed it when nobody else did. But we're seeing it now, and we're coming along, and we're jumping in and singing the song now. But he saw it and believed it before anybody else did. And it was pretty incredible. And it touched me then, and it touched me now, and it was really, really special. And I saw in Yang what was important. And and here's the thing. This is what mattered. When the Jellicle Cats, and when Victoria and the Jellicle Cats sang it, it grew in Mr. Mistoffelees. His craft grew into real magic, and it grew in him, and it locked, right? And that power became real, right? And I think that's what we're seeing now. Like, Yang was singing this song when I think maybe even he didn't know it was true, but he knows it's true, and he's known it for months, for over a year. And we've known it for months, some of us for over a year. And it's been so clear to us that this is a magical cat, right? Like, this is the thing, right? This is the person who needs to be in the White House. And this is something special, right? And in that moment in the film, when Mr. Mistoffelees went poof, Deuteronomy, right, was not in the bag, right? But in that moment, Deuteronomy came from behind and actually sang, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Deuteronomy was magicked there, right? But in that moment, Mr. Mistoffelees became an actual mage, a real light mage, right? From the light side, right? And it was important. And when Deuteronomy sang and walked up from behind all the other cats, right? That's when Deuteronomy saying the same words.
Oh, well, I never was there ever a cat so clever as magical Mr. Mistoffelees.
Actually, Deuteronomy, whose voice is that going to be in our election? That's going to be the Electoral College. You guys don't like to hear that. I know you don't. I know a lot of you don't like the Electoral College. I think it's super necessary, especially when I love that there's Dems saying, hey, there's a whole bunch of people trying to interfere with our election. let's get rid of our safety mechanism. No. Like Deuteronomy, as Deuteronomy's singing of that song is the Electoral College. And guess what? The Electoral College is going to sing Mr. Mistoffelees for Andrew Yang, going to make that magic real. Right? I'm telling you, it's coming. Right? Now, the thing is, it's really important to understand this. Yang sang it first. Yang Gang sang it next. The Electoral College is going to sing it and make it super real. Going to lock it all the way in. Going to nail it to the wall. Right? That's when it's going to be. That's when Yang's going to put his butt in the Oval Office. Right after that. Right? But it is really important to understand that progression. Right? And I'm telling you, in Cats, it's there. Yang is Mr. Mistoffelees. He believed it before anybody else did. He practiced his craft. Yang Gang came along, sang that song after him, grew it in him, locked it in, right? Deuteronomy's going to sing it. Deuteronomy is Electoral College. We're going to get there, right? And the reality is, we're going to get there. Now, I hear you. You're saying, wait a sec, Scott. Politics ain't magic. It's craft, right? It's all charts, and it's all polls, and it's all numbers, right? You're wrong. I'll tell you how, right? You're right. That the charts and the polls and the numbers and the door-to-door matters. The craft matters, right? Where's the magic, right? So you're 100% right. We have to go door-to-door. Andrew Yang has to practice for every debate. He's got to do the interviews. He's got to put in the blood, sweat, and tears, the real work. He's got to do the craft. Exactly the same way Mr. Mistoffelees practiced all the card tricks, right? And did all the craft first before the real magic happened. Where does real magic happen in politics? I'll give you the answer. Time. Time. No one on this earth controls it, right? It's outside of the control of anyone here. And I'll tell you, that is where real magic happens in American politics. If you think I'm wrong, you just got to look back to 1963, right? A couple years before that, JFK went, there's the moon, let's go. He died in 63. We're sitting on the moon in 69. Magic. If you don't believe in Mr. Mistoffelees, there it is, right? Magic happens. It happens from time, sequencing. Same thing with Yang, right? We got a lot of days coming up. We got actually, we don't have a lot of days. We have a few hundred days between now and that election. And I'm telling you right now, pay attention, right? Magic's already happening, right? Sometimes it is a dark magical turn. Bernie had a heart attack 6 weeks ago, right? That is a dark magical event. Like, that is not, nobody expected that. It shook the entire field, right? And that's my point. That's the part where you can't write a chart for that. Nobody knows what's going to happen. That's where the magic comes in, right? And that is, so you got to have your craft there. But you best recognize magic is real. It happens from events that cannot be controlled and are out of the hands of anybody on this earth. Right? It's coming. And the reality is, Andrew Yang is absolutely Mr. Mistoffelees. And he sang this song before anybody.
Oh, well, I never was there ever a cat so clever as magical Mr. Mistoffelees.
We're singing that song today, and I'm telling you now, the Electoral College is going to sing it in 2020. All that's my opinion. Thank you very much for taking the time to let us share this with you today. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.